Thank you so much. I'm going to do a song now that's for the movie Polar Express, and it's a brand new song called Believe.
Close your eyes and travel back with me to the year 2004. Incredible, Shrek 2 and Howl's Moving Castle have cemented this year as one of the most important years for animation.
And then Shark Chow had to come and fuck it all up.
Even other movies like Spider-Man 2, Lemony Snicket, Home on the... Lorenzo! Fuck y'all know about Lorenzo, this shit's insane.
Regardless of the genre, all of these films have gone down as some of the best remembered films of our generation. I don't remember a whole lot from my childhood, disassociation is a bitch, but I remember Shrek 2 and how the ending made me feel. So why the hell am I talking about Polar Express?
I think of him when Christmas comes to town. The best time.
I was in the first grade when this film came out on VHS, and I remember my teacher playing it around Christmas time. We came into school in our PJs, and she would set up the chairs to look like a train. She punched us our own tickets and gave us sleigh bells like in the movie. It's one of the better memories I have of elementary school, and I assume it's like that for the rest of the kids who got to see the movie with an experience similar to mine. Because at that point, it doesn't become just a movie, it creates a feeling as real as Christmas itself.
However, as time drags further and further away from the 2000s, just like the spirit of the season itself, it seems to die in an icy cynicism. This is a hill I'm gonna die on, isn't it? I feel like my life consists of 11 months waiting to defend this movie as pretentiously I can, and usually failing. I try, and I try. And as December rolls around, here I go trying once more to win absolutely no one. I even switched out my tea for some hot chocolate I made from scratch, which, let me tell you, is great for when you have to film all day, really smooth on the throat. This was a mistake. This video was a mistake, I feel like, but we're just gonna keep going. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Oh no, I still have the Yearline April set up. I am not a Christmas person. I was not prepared for the set of this video at all. So I'm just gonna casually put up the laziest of sets that I'll ever have, and we're all gonna forget about it, okay? Don't look past my forehead.
Even before the boy steps on the train, the film wears its themes on its aesthetic. Sure, it's off-looking in a PS2 kind of way, and it's weird that Tom Hanks plays everyone except for a handful of kids and Mandark over there.
Now, Susan, you know how we feel about using implements of destruction.
My name is Mandark.
But as soon as the boy sneaks around the bedroom, not for proof, but just for the justification of what he already believes is fake, the camera focuses on this article. The photo is showing a department store Santa being unmasked.
Unbearded? What?
He rushes into bed just as his parents openly contemplate the end of the magic, and it's fucking heartbreaking.
That would be sad if that were true.
Yeah, an end of the magic. Was that the bite of 87?
I remember the Christmas that my older brother told me that the magic died for him.
It had snowed that Christmas Eve, and we had already rooted through our presents enough times to know that our loot the next morning was great. But he turned to me and said the words that I was too afraid to say out loud. It doesn't feel like Christmas anymore.
Having that Christmas magic die is the first heartbreak that a kid will ever experience.
My older brother and I had this tradition as kids. Once everyone went to bed, we'd open our bedroom window and stare out into the night sky, waiting hours in hopes to see Santa's sleigh come by. We would talk forever until I'd pull the ultimate little brother move and fall asleep on lookout duty. I wondered how that must have felt like. In the few minutes between me crashing and him finally giving up and closing that window, I guess it's the end of the magic. On the train, the boy stares at the department store Santa, almost hoping to be the real one and being disappointed when it's just an animatronic.
Was that the bite of...
But like, no shit, it's an animatronic. Can you imagine if they had even a guy playing Santa Claus just banging on this closed Sears overnight?
The train scenes transition as fast as the boy moves through the train cars. There's not really a plot to this film other than a video game-like overarching quest to see Santa. The flow of the boy finding a new side quest in each car helps the viewer forget that they're watching a film based on a kid's picture book.
I keep calling him Boy because no one has names in this movie. Well, except for Billy. I don't know why he's special. And I feel like he only got his name revealed because he doxed himself at the end of the movie.
Let's go to my town. There's someone named Billy. My name is Billy. Let's go on to 11344 Edbrook Avenue. That's my address!
Yeah, so the second half of this movie isn't as strong as the parts on the train. They arrive at the North Pole and the kids get lost in the Christmas village. I don't dislike it, but after an hour of moving scene to scene so quickly, it really feels like it's taking its time in comparison.
We're lost.
But the way I always saw it was a return to the movie's theme. This is the third act climax. Just some nameless kids getting lost in a Christmas village, as underwhelming as the last Christmas village you ever experienced in the real world. And Billy's also there.
My name is Billy.
We love Billy. Even if you dislike this movie, I feel like everybody should get it on DVD, at least solely for the bonus features.
And you know what kind of movie this is? It's cutting edge, and it combines performance capture technology in a way that's never been done before.
Oh, come on. You remember me. I was on the train with you. Wait, stop the picture. See, that's me. Yep, the one in the green pajamas. Okay, you can start again.
I wasn't joking about Tom Hanks. He even played the little boy through mocap. It's his performance as the conductor that I'm even able to ignore how incoherent and sometimes forgetful his performances can be. They mentioned it being like how the dual roles worked in Wizard of Oz, but Hanks playing everyone feels undercooked at times for part of the story that could have gotten more attention. But where would we be without this absolute banger?
Son of a bitch! Jesus. Okay, so the first night is never usually that bad in any of the games, so I'll play through. Ah, fuck! What the fuck? Ah!
I'm curious if they got an actual kid to motion capture the boy, if his movements would be less strange. That's why people hate this movie, right? They all move like possessed puppets. Well, this one might actually be a possessed puppet. What's everyone else's excuse?
And in sort of the tradition of the Wizard of Oz, where, you know, this is sort of a dream, if you will. The characters that are on this journey with him are characters that are kind of memories from his real life.
There's a behind-the-scenes feature where Robert Zemeckis talks about what Christmas means to him. He talks about the presents being lacking in comparison to the magic of the holiday itself.
When I look back on Christmas, I was really excited to get a lot of toys and things like that, which I was fortunate enough to do. But that ends up not actually being my warm memories of Christmas.
The best Christmas present I ever got was not so much an individual thing. There was just the excitement of, because we did a thing where there was always an unwrapped thing under the tree. What it wasn't nearly as important as the anticipation of the night before.
It's funny that he says that, because what this movie lacks in plot, memorable character traits, and names that isn't Billy,
My name is Billy.
what the film lacks, it seems to gain back later on in its theme and overall aesthetic.
The North Pole isn't big or fantastical. It looks like any other Christmas village you'd find at Macy's. The self-insert kid is at the tail end of his Christmas magic and starting the inevitable and long road of cold cynicism, while literally being taken to see Santa himself. And it's through that cynicism that the film tries to remind you of that magic you may have felt Christmases and Christmases ago. Nothing too fantastical. No mystic new world, just, hey, remember what it felt like.
This is what Christmas feels to us. The department stores, the hot chocolate, the early 2000s Steven Tyler elf. So, is this an elf that just so happens to look and sound like Steven Tyler, or are there elf versions of normal people? Or was Steven Tyler just secretly an elf all along?
Every year I try to make a tradition to see Polar Express whenever it re-releases in theaters during Christmas time. Now, I couldn't get my friends to go with me if I bribed them, so I took my younger brother because, as is kid brother law, he doesn't really have free will until he turns 18, and I love abusing my older brother role for the cringiest ways possible. We're usually there by ourselves, but there was a surprising amount of people with us this year. It's a strange experience seeing this movie in theaters all these years later. I mean, I never did see it in theaters all the way back in 2004. I saw it in my first grade classroom dressed in my Ultimate Spider-Man pajamas, 3 mugs deep into some ready-made cocoa. When I see this movie in my 20s, it's the seasonal experience of looking back on old photos and, you know, laughing at how dumb and dorky they are. The movie was almost over and one of the kids in the theater jumped out of his seat and ran in front of the screen. His mother crept up behind him and they sat together in the empty front row. That very Josh Groban-ass Josh Groban song got louder and louder, and I couldn't stop thinking,
This movie means so much to me, but to him it's just a film. He doesn't have the cynicism to see the film's inconsistent plot or its spooky animation. Because he still believes.
And even in my old age of 21, still do I see the magic of the Polar Express. And so does anybody that truly believes.
Wow, what a crock of shit.
It is 13 fucking degrees, and it feels like it. So this video was supposed to go up 2 days ago, but it's 13 degrees outside.